100.7 and 103.7 WTIB present Talk of the Town with Henry Hinton. News, sports, and community information, and everything that's going on around town. Now, with Talk of the Town, here's your host, Henry Hinton.
All right, we're kicking off the weekend here. Not a bad weekend either. Doesn't look too bad. Looks like the sun's going to be shining. It's going to be cold tomorrow, but I mean, it's going to be January the 18th. What do you expect? And temperatures today up near 60, sunny. I got a busy day, unfortunately.
What do you mean, unfortunately?
Well, I'm just looking at the forecast going there. Could I slip out about 2:30? You know, it's Friday.
That means business is good.
Not necessarily. It's January, right, Gentner?
It is.
Actually, I don't want to hear it from the TV guys, though. The political is already flowing in, and the TV guys are already getting all the political. It's going to be a big year for political, isn't it?
Yeah, but, you know, right now, most of that money in this state is, it looks like Greensboro's getting the lion's share.
Greensboro, Charlotte.
Yep.
You know, as the population of the state shifts to the western the I-85 corridor, you know, even the political money's see, it's an economic problem. They're not spending money on the radio and TV stations on this side of the state. I was disappointed yesterday, speaking of the political money in the U.S. Senate race. You see who endorsed this guy Mark Harris for U.S. Senate yesterday?
No.
Mark Harris, who is the former chairman of the Southern Baptist Convention, he's the pastor of the First Baptist Church in Charlotte. And he was endorsed for U.S. Senate yesterday by Mike Huckabee.
Yeah.
I thought that was, well, I guess, you know, because Huckabee's a Baptist preacher. Somebody told me that, and I was actually, of course, you know, I continue to say, if you want to beat Kay Hagan, you've got to, you know, Tom Tillis is the only guy that's going to be able to beat her. He's the only one that's going to be able to kind of raise enough money to do it. But I'm worried that Tillis is going to end up with a
primary runoff.
With a primary runoff.
Yeah.
He's going, you know, you got to get 40% of the vote for there not to be a primary. And the problem is there's so many people running. And did you see this Graham lady She was tied for second place in the poll that came out this week, and nobody even knows who she is. But she's a woman.
Yeah, you could wind up with 4 candidates in that race who force a runoff.
Yeah, I saw where Tillis, I think it was $800,000 on his last little fundraising thing. He's already up to that amount.
He's got more than that.
Yeah. Well, I think this was on the last little on what he had just recently raised.
Okay, he raised that in fourth quarter, maybe.
Yeah.
That's still not enough.
No, it's.
I mean, I'm telling you, Kay Hagan will have Obama money, and she will spend. I mean, they're talking about this being the most expensive Senate race in the history of the country, and I could see that. I mean, the Republicans are looking at Kay Hagan as vulnerable. They're looking at North Carolina as a purple state. The Romney won here in 12.
Right.
Of course, Obama won here in 8. You have a Republican governor. You have a Republican legislature. You know, but North Carolina still is not a red state. I'm telling you, we are a purple state. We go red sometime. We go blue sometime. And
we're amphibious.
It's going to be. We are amphibious. It's going to be It's going to be an expensive proposition to win. And you know, Mark Harris and Greg Brannon and this lady, I mean, they can't raise the money. They're not going to be able to raise the money. And Tillis is going to have to spend so much money to win the primary and then win the runoff. Is he going to have any money left to go after Kay Hagan? That's the problem.
He's got, what will help whoever the candidate is, if it turns out to be Tillis, PAC money that's flowing now that's all anti-Hagan.
Yeah.
And, you know, these outside groups with that decision from the Supreme Court, they're going to help out his cause a lot. But I saw where the last election, there was 2-point-something billion spent. This year they're saying, and this is an off presidential election year, $3.2 billion across the country for political races.
Wow.
That's huge.
Oh, yeah, it is. We were talking about movies before the news break. And guess who just texted me? The mayor just texted me, Alan Thomas. We were talking about Lone Survivor. Now, we've been talking about the town common all morning, and he hadn't texted me anything about that. But then we start talking about town common, and Mayor, call us. We would invite you to call us, 561-8255. He says, on Lone Survivor, the events as portrayed in the movie were absolutely riveting. You were drawn in immediately. The entire movie seems to go by in 5 minutes. The entire audience left the theater without saying a word except for a few people who were quietly crying. It's a very riveting movie. So maybe Lone Survivor is worth, maybe it's worth seeing. I'll tell you, the book is it's probably the only book I've ever read twice. Wow. I actually read it twice. I enjoyed it so much. I read it the first time, and I was really drawn into the book. But then I interviewed Marcus Luttrell, the author, and a couple things he said to me made me want to go back and read it again. And I went back because I wanted to get more detail. It was like one of those books you just want to get into the book. Interesting story, Lone Survivor, but I hear it's pretty, and it sounds like that from what the mayor's saying. It's pretty. It's a tough movie to watch, probably. It's all about a firefight on a mountain in Afghanistan with the Taliban. And difficult stuff. Today is January the 17th. If you're having a birthday today, guess who's having a birthday today? Betty White, 92 today. 92 today. James Earl Jones is 83 today. I like those commercials that he does with
the Sprint commercial.
Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah. Keep thinking of Malcolm McDowell as the Clockwork Orange guy. That's why.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, no matter what he's done, he was the Clockwork Orange guy to me. That was such a weird movie back. What was that, like 1968 or something? The first movie
Stanley
he ever did.
Kubrick, weird movie.
Yeah, exactly. God, that was a strange movie. But I love, Malcolm McDowell and James Earl Jones talking to each other like a couple of teenagers texting each other. I might go out, and I might not. Pretty funny.
Totes my goats.
Michelle Obama today, the big 5-0. 50 years old today, Michelle. And Zoe, is it Deschanel?
Deschanel, yeah.
Deschanel, 34 years old today. So there you go. We mentioned Jack Ryan debuts to the Shadow Recruit movie debuts tonight. I guess Harrison Ford is now too old to play Jack Ryan, so they've got Kevin. What's his name?
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine.
Like yep.
Is Jack
Chris
Ryan.
Pine.
Oh, I thought it was Kevin, the Bull Durham guy.
No, he doesn't play Jack Ryan.
Oh, he doesn't?
Kevin Costner is
Kevin Costner,
his, I guess, boss.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mentor.
In between there, Ben Affleck did a run at Ryan, too.
Oh, that's right. He did do a Jack Ryan. The early Jack Ryan movies were good.
Yes.
But, what was the one that they shot on at Annapolis?
And don't forget, Alec Baldwin was Jack Ryan.
Oh,
Was he
that's
really?
right. On the submarine one, right?
With Sean Connery.
Your mother, Trebek. 561-8255. 561-8255. Michael is on the air. Good morning, Michael. 2, 3, 4.
Comment about Ron Rivera, and I really think he deserves the award that he received. But I also think it's important to remember that Ron Rivera was probably a game or two away earlier this season from being fired.
Yeah, early on. They started 1-3.
And if you read the fellow's resume, from high school through college, through the pros, he's had nothing but respect from other coaches, other players, as just a truly outstanding leader.
Yeah.
But here's a guy who is obviously good, but one game or two away from being ingloriously let go.
You know what, though? I have to give Jerry Richardson credit for not firing him at the end of last season. Richardson was under a lot of pressure to fire Ron Rivera at the end of last season.
Oh, yes.
And let's face it, Richardson is not a patient man.
No, he's a dictator.
So I'm impressed that you could look at it one way and say, well, look how crazy they were to talk about firing it, but they didn't. And maybe Richardson, who also played the game, he saw what you're talking about, Michael, the leadership qualities and the fact that they, it looked like the Panthers were right there, but just weren't getting over the hump with these close games. So
That's true. Last year, I mean, there were so many close games, but for a call or this or that, the Panthers could have won.
Right. Yeah.
So
I just
anyway.
think it's exciting for the state of North Carolina to have a successful NFL team again, you know?
Oh, I think it's wonderful.
I mean, you know, this year was the first time, and since I think the Panthers went to the Super Bowl, that people really cared about the Panthers. I mean, you know, even though when Cam Newton came, there was a little spark of excitement about it. But I mean, then they started losing, and everybody went, same old Panthers.
Right.
So
right.
I think it was a good thing for the state of North Carolina.
It's wonderful, and with a little bit of luck, they'll be back bigger than ever next year.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, exactly. I just hope they keep everybody together. I know that Greg Hardy's contract's up. I think some of the offensive linemen, you know, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Yeah. All right, Michael, thank you.
Sure. Bye-bye.
All right, 15 minutes after 8 o'clock, we got another call holding. So the mayor did not call? Okay. Let's get a break in. I want to save plenty of time to talk to Becky Gray this morning. Becky, of course, is the vice president of the John Locke Foundation. You see her all the time on NC Spin, which airs on WITN at 11 a.m. on Sunday mornings. If you miss that during church, WRAL runs it, I believe, at 6:30 a.m., and you can always get it online. But Becky is she's one of the most knowledgeable people about state government. She says that a lot of the things that were done in the legislature in 2013 are sparking the economy in 2014. We'll hear from her coming up in a few minutes. But next, news headlines from WITN. Be right back.
Imagine getting a new car and paying less than what you're paying right now. You can at Greenville Toyota's Trade Up, Pay Less sales event. Start the new year off right in a new Toyota with payments as low as $148 a month on the all-new 2014 Corolla. And new Camrys just $20 more, now $168 a month. And 0% financing on 10 new Toyota models. Plus, we'll help you get the financing you need. And remember, every new Toyota comes with a Greenville Toyota Advantage. Trade up and pay less. Stop making those high car payments on that old car. Rush to Greenville Toyota today.
Top Dog Academy is Eastern North Carolina's complete dog training facility. Top Dog provides an excellent environment for dogs of all ages with training services and work week daycare. Top Dog is located on Highway 43 South, just 4 miles from Bells Fork, and features a comfortable, healthy environment and a spacious facility for daycare and a brand new, beautiful facility for training. Call 752-8215 or visit topdogonline.com.
Come on out Highway 43 South to Top Dog Academy, where we know dogs.
When you're on the go, it's Trade Wilco. No matter where you go in Eastern Carolina, there's sure to be an attractive and always clean Trade Wilco Hess station nearby. For the absolute lowest prices on gas, groceries, and travel necessities, stop at any of the Trade Wilco Hess stations throughout Eastern Carolina. Keep your eyes on the road, but remember to look for the green and white Hess sign. The best part? No one supports the ECU Pirates more. So when you're on the go, it's Trade Wilco.
Unlock the best life has to offer for generations to come. Introducing the Legacy Membership exclusively at Ironwood Golf and Country Club. As a Legacy member, you'll not only enjoy all the benefits of an active, family-friendly lifestyle, your children and grandchildren will enjoy membership status as well. Belonging to Ironwood is remarkable. Sharing it with your entire family is even better. Become a Legacy member today, only at Ironwood Golf and Country Club. Golf at its finest, life at its fullest.
Having a vision of what really matters is how we succeed. Keeping an eye on the ball, seeing all the things that we need. Focusing on the big picture, always striving to do what's right. Carolina Vision Care, we keep what's important inside.
Don't miss the incredible year-end savings at East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep. We are overstocked with over 400 new Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram vehicles. We aren't only discounting the 2013 models, but the 14s as well. Jeep Patriot starting at only $15,990. Dodge Grand Caravan starting at only $19,990. Ram Quad Cab starting at only $26,990.
It's the big finish at East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep, across from the Cracker Barrel in Greenville.
All right, welcome back. We got sports coming up. Philip Horn is in this morning for Trent McGee and talk about East Carolina's loss last night. They're back in Florida International tomorrow night. Have details on that. And the big story for ECU football fans is that Lincoln Riley confirming yesterday that he is not going to Notre Dame, not going to North Carolina. And he says he's not looking at any. Well, he didn't say that. He says it looks like he's going to be staying here. And he's been a hot name in the offseason, as you can expect, after winning 10 games this year and a high-powered offense. And so Lincoln Riley has been. I'm not surprised at this, really. Are you?
I'm not, and I think when you're record-breaking quarterback and record-breaking receiver do just that, your name's going to get out there.
And they're coming back this year.
Coming back.
Which probably has a lot to do with Lincoln wanting to come back. I mean, I'm sure I don't know whether he got offered the Notre Dame job. And, you got to think Lincoln could get another job if he wanted it. But, the one thing about this, and some people don't believe this, having gotten to be close friends with football coaches over the years, they want to be – this is a job they want. It's not the best paying football job out there. But you remember when Rick Smith, got the defensive coordinator, he was like, this is my dream come true, getting to come back here. I talked to Steve Shankweiler and by the way, Coach Shankweiler just became the offensive coordinator yesterday for Florida International. But, Steve has left and come back to Greenville several times, and he just loves this community. And, Steve Logan, even the way that, the thing ended for Logan, he's told me over the years that, this was a great place to be a football coach because the passion for football here is so dramatic. And, they don't get that everywhere they go, especially at this level when you're going, Conference USA communities and stuff. Think about being a football coach at Rice.
Well, you do get
Tulane.
Tulane.
I mean, we constantly lead in attendance, right? In Conference USA.
Yeah. But if you're head coach at Tulane, you get to play before dozens,
Tens of tens.
Yeah.
All right, let's check news. Our news update this hour brought to you by Suddenlink, and WITN's general manager is in this morning. Mark Gentner, here's the G-Man with our news update. Good morning, Mark.
Thank you, Henry. Multiple fire departments returned to the scene of a rekindled fire in Pink Hill area of Lenoir County. Highway 11 South was once again shut down in this area. Officials tell us the fire is rekindled at the home that was up in flames last night. Fire was at 5626 Highway 11 in Pink Hill. Multiple fire crews are on the scene, and officials say it could be a while before the rekindled fire is out, so drivers need to avoid the area if possible. Officials say ingredients to make meth were discovered inside the home last night. And Lenoir County Sheriff Chris Hill says they can't say for sure at this point if the meth is the cause of the fire. Sheriff Hill also has commented that he's currently looking for Ralph Fast Eddie Stroud, who lived at the address and is out on bond from other meth charges. The Greenville City Council voted Thursday to delay conversations on the future of the town common for a couple of months. In a 4-3 vote, the council voted to bring up the town common master plan in March after the Redevelopment Commission meets. Mayor Alan Thomas cast the deciding vote because the vote among council members was tied at 3 votes apiece. The Town Common Master Plan was created in April 2009, but there's been no action on it. It outlines 8 priority areas the public deems the most important to better the 20-acre park situated between the city's urban core and the Tar River. People have a wide range of opinions on whether the Town Common should remain green space along the river or be developed with vendors or businesses. A group of North Carolina doctors has filed a class action lawsuit seeking millions in damages from the state and its contractors over flawed computer programs that severely delayed Medicaid reimbursements. The lawsuit filed Thursday alleges that managers at the Department of Health and Human Services and 3 contractors were negligent in the launch of NC Tracks. The $484 million computer system is intended to streamline the filing of Medicaid claims and issuing payments. The complaint says the launch of NC Tracks was a disaster and the software riddled with errors. The problems led to delays of weeks and sometimes months before medical providers and hospitals received payment, forcing some businesses to take out loans to meet payroll. And finally, East Carolina's young and very bright offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley is a hot commodity around college football. His name has surfaced for coaching jobs at Texas, Notre Dame, and North Carolina. But Riley says he's staying at ECU. WITN Sports Director Billy Weaver spoke to Riley on the phone and says that Riley is looking forward to being at ECU for a long time. He is entering his 5th season in East Carolina this fall and helped lead the Pirates to the school's second-ever double-digit win season, going 10-3 in 2013. And that's your WITN News Update. And I'm Mark Henry.
Thank you, Marky Mark. Let's go to Philip now and grab the weather for the weekend. What's it looking like, Philippe?
A sunny day today. High of about 57 degrees. And tonight, cloudy skies and slight chance of rain will move in with a low of 33. Tomorrow, mainly sunny, high of 42. A little bit windy. And tomorrow night, clear to partly cloudy, low of 29 degrees. But on Sunday again, the temperature will rise. It will be windy in the morning. And then afternoon sun, highs in the mid-50s and lows in the low 30s. On Monday, even warmer, mainly sunny again. Highs in the low 60s and lows in the low 30s.
All right, thank you very much. Current temperature now, I think, still 32, maybe 33 degrees. So it's going to go all the way up near 60 today. At 25 minutes after 8 o'clock, our news and weather update this hour, a service of Suddenlink. Friends, are you disappointed? I don't write it, I just read it. I think Melissa Parks over at Suddenlink came up with that. And if you have Dish right now, you probably are, say it, Philip.
Disappointed.
Disappointed, yes. If you're hung into a long-term contract with Dish Network right now, you may be disappointed because the truth of the matter is they have dropped a bunch of channels. I think they still have the locals, ABC, WCTI still not on there.
I didn't realize
I don't think so. So you can't get Revenge, can't get Scandal. Can't get to look at Diane Sawyer at 6:30. Not that you'd want to, but anyway.
George Stephanopoulos.
Yeah. And DirecTV, as of Tuesday, dropped the Weather Channel.
Wow.
For crying out loud.
Wow.
So if you've got Dish or DirecTV, you're missing a lot of channels. And fortunately, there is a better option. You guessed it. Switch up to Suddenlink and get TV, internet, get entertainment you can count on. You won't be disappointed, so don't miss out on with DirecTV and Dish. Bring home the best entertainment with the best value for some Suddenlink. And you can, by the way, you can save $300 when you switch up to Dish and bundle. Special offers now available for people who switch back to Suddenlink from Dish or DirecTV. And remember, there's a 30-day Suddenlink money-back, we guarantee promise, no contract required. Call Suddenlink today. Get the best lineup you can get, and you won't be disappointed. 1-866-432-1184. 866-432-1184 for Suddenlink. All right, to the commercial break, and then to Becky Gray from the John Locke Foundation. Becky says 2014 could be a banner year economically. She's real high on what the legislature did last year. You hear all about all the bad things that the legislature did, but here's someone in the know that says, watch what happens in 2014. The economy is going to blossom in North Carolina because of some of the decisions made by the state leadership in 2013. Becky Gray coming up next.
Imagine getting a new car and paying less than what you're paying right now. You can at Greenville Toyota's Trade Up, Pay Less sales event. Start the new year off right in a new Toyota with payments as low as $148 a month on the all-new 2014 Corolla. And new Camrys just $20 more, now $168 a month. And 0% financing on 10 new Toyota models. Plus, we'll help you get the financing you need. And remember, every new Toyota comes with a Greenville Toyota Advantage. Trade up and pay less. Stop making those high car payments on that old car. Rush to Greenville Toyota today.
At the law firm of Hardy & Hardy, we don't simply take cases.
We take your case personally.
I've been in several car accidents, and each time I've turned to Hardy & Hardy for help. They are honest, hardworking, and dependable. I've been satisfied with the conclusion of each case, and I would recommend Wayne and Charles Hardy to my family and friends.
You matter to us.
Protecting the rights of the seriously injured.
Unlock the best life has to offer for generations to come. Introducing the Legacy membership exclusively at Ironwood Golf and Country Club. As a Legacy member, you'll not only enjoy all the benefits of an active, family-friendly lifestyle, your children and grandchildren will enjoy membership status as well. Belonging to Ironwood is remarkable. Sharing it with your entire family is even better. Become a Legacy member today, only at Ironwood Golf and Country Club. Golf at its finest, life at its fullest.
Top Dog Academy is Eastern North Carolina's complete dog training facility. Top Dog provides an excellent environment for dogs of all ages with training services and work week daycare. Top Dog is located on Highway 43 South, just 4 miles from Bells Fork, and features a comfortable, healthy environment and a spacious facility for daycare and a brand new, beautiful facility for training. Call 752-8215 or visit topdogonline.com.
Come on out Highway 43 South to Top Dog Academy, where we know dogs.
Pepsi, born here, raised by Panthers fans everywhere.
Raise your Pepsi for a chance to win the ultimate fan experience. See specially marked 18 packs or visit PepsiRaisedHere.com to learn more.
Many people in eastern North Carolina suffer from diabetes. The question is, can the disease be managed before it causes harm? Are there lifestyle changes that can help prevent it in the first place? And can a health system really make a difference? At Vidant Health, we are empowering people with tools and resources to detect and manage chronic disease. Can diabetes education and management help members of your family lead healthier lives? The answer is definitely yes.
.831, it's 29 in front of 9 o'clock. Philip Horn in the studio with me this morning, and all the staff is coming in from the radio station, and they found out we have donuts in the studio, so they're coming in and disturbing us and distracting me and stuff. Jennifer Little just came in and got, did she get 2 donuts?
No, she got 1. Only 1.
Are you sure?
There were 2 stuck together, and she should have taken both.
Robin Bowen from Comfort Master brought Krispy Kreme donuts in this morning. Robin wants me to plug that Boy Scout Troop 74 will be selling donuts, Krispy Kreme donuts at Lowe's tomorrow morning. The Lowe's on 33. Is that the East 10th Street?
Yes.
33, East 10th Street location of Lowe's on Highway 33. So the Boy Scouts will be out there selling donuts tomorrow morning if you got to go run out to Lowe's and do your Saturday morning run to Lowe's. So there you go. Going to be a good day to run to Lowe's, too, because it's going to be too cold to play golf, allegedly. We'll see. My friend Becky Gray is one of my go-to people when it comes to what's going on in state government. And Becky, of course, is the vice president of the John Locke Foundation. You see her on NC Spin. She's a lovely person. I really love Becky, and she is very knowledgeable about what's happening with the state of North Carolina. She is optimistic about the economy in 2014 and wrote a column yesterday on CarolinaJournal.com. Get ready for the NC recovery. By phone right now at her office in Raleigh at the John Locke Foundation, Becky Gray. Good morning, Becky.
Good morning.
Happy New Year. I don't think I've talked to you this year.
I know. Happy New Year to you, too. I think, but I will tell you, Henry, I think you're very unkind to have me on the telephone, not in the office, and talking about Krispy Kreme donuts.
Here comes somebody else to get one. That's
Of
Jennifer
course.
again. Are you coming back to get another donut? Okay. I'm sorry, Becky. Distracted again.
Of course.
All right, let's talk about this column. You are optimistic about the economy this year. Why so? What do you think?
Well, first, let me point out that I am optimistic about this economy, but I'm not the only one who is optimistic. I have believed, as many conservatives have, since 2011, that some of the policies and the provisions that have put into place by a Republican leadership, beginning with the General Assembly and then, of course, in 2013 with the Republican governor and Republican General Assembly, that a lot of these policies are good for government. They're good for the economy. And, we believe these things. We They've done studies. We know from economic studies that these things lead to economic growth. But so I've been optimistic for quite some time. What I wrote my column about, and the reason why I wrote my column, is because there are others who are beginning to join me in that optimism, and people who are perhaps not quite as, I hate to say biased, but believe in lower taxes, less government, and those kind of things. But this started. Actually, there have been several experts who have come out in this. There was an economic forecast forum, Henry, here in Raleigh, sponsored by the North Carolina Bankers Association and the North Carolina Chamber of Commerce. This is an annual event that they do the Monday after New Year. So it's kind of a way to get the new year started. This brings in business leaders, bankers, people from the financial sector, entrepreneurs, people who own big businesses, small businesses, all those kind of things, together in Raleigh for a forecast of the economy for the year. And what we heard at that economic forecast from economists, Governor Pat McCrory was there, Senator Richard Burr was there. The economist for Wells Fargo was one of the featured speakers, as was Kelly King, the president of BB&T. And the message, not only at my lunch table, my other folks who were attending the event, as I was, just chatting and talking, but these experts are starting to say that we are seeing signs of recovery in North Carolina, and we're actually starting to see signs of recovery across the nation. But what the really good news here in North Carolina is it looks like we're even ahead of that national trend for recovery out of this recession that we've been under since 2008. So Mike Walden, who is a professor of economics at NC State, the North Carolina General Assembly Fiscal Research Division has done some forecasting. There's a gentleman, John Connaughton, that people that watch this kind of thing like I do, he's a professor at UNC Charlotte, and he does economic forecasting. I think he does, I'm not sure that he does a monthly report, but it's at least quarterly with forecasting and a lot of numbers. So these are people that are experts at this who have been doing it for a number of years. And the message overall from these experts is things are looking good in North Carolina, and it is looking like 2014 may very well be the year of recovery here nationally, but also in North Carolina. And the thing that we're starting to see is that trend towards recovery seems to be stronger in North Carolina than our surrounding states and in other parts of the country. So there's an opportunity for North Carolina to be a leader, and in this economic recovery, job creation, I think that's a very good thing.
Becky, surely you can't be right about any of this, because the News and Observer says it's not true, and that Barry, if you read Barry Saunders, the Republicans are cold-hearted people who have changed the unemployment deal for people who are out of work in North Carolina, and they're just being cruel, and they're jimmying the numbers. I mean, people say, well, the reason the unemployment numbers are going down is not because all of this economic spurt is coming from what was done in the legislature, but because there's so many people who've just stopped looking for work.
Right, and actually, it's interesting that you should mention that, because John Hood's column this morning in Carolina Journal, where mine was yesterday, John Hood today is writing about that very thing, about North Carolina's discouraged workers and these employment numbers. And you're right, the critics say that North Carolina's labor market hasn't improved much at all over the last 3 years. The thing about it is, if you look at the numbers, and you're right, the News and Observer and a lot of my friends on the left are being very critical of this, but what we're starting to see is this isn't just Becky Gray or John Hood or Henry Hinton saying, we think things are looking up. These numbers are starting to turn around, and as you can't dispute the facts is kind of the fact of this. But on the job numbers, what we're seeing is that the recovery is coming around. When you look at these numbers, and John does a really good job this morning of explaining different measures of unemployment. And this, like everything else, economies are complicated, and there's a lot of things that contribute to this. The unemployment numbers and what that really means. And this is all data that is collected at the national level and then broken down that we can capture that information here in North Carolina. So this is a lot. This isn't just what I think or what you might think. These are the hard-driven numbers, and they're different measures of these unemployment numbers, U6, U3, U4, that John does a really good job this morning of breaking that down and looking at the trend over the last 3 years. And what we're seeing is the numbers are telling us that we are in a recovery, that the unemployment rate is improving in North Carolina. Now, we're not out of the woods, and I don't mean to indicate that at all, that, we all ought to go out and have a party at lunchtime and buy more Krispy Kreme donuts to celebrate. But we are starting to see this trend. And as you said, even the critics of many of the policies that the Republicans have put into place are going to have a hard time disputing this as these numbers continue to tell us that we are in an economic recovery.
Becky, can you equate that to what's happening in other states? Have you taken a look at North Carolina's recovery after these changes were made in the legislature that seem to be taking effect now and working? Can you look at other states that have not made these kind of changes, that still have a more liberal leaning leadership, and say, okay, we can build a case now that what the Republicans have done in North Carolina really is the way to go?
Well, yeah, and to answer your question in a couple of different ways. First of all, it is too early to do a real straight analysis of that. But what it looks like is North Carolina's unemployment rate has gone from the fifth highest or third highest in the country down to like the middle of the pack. So those kind of numbers are telling us that North Carolina is leading it. But the other thing is, and along those lines, Henry, for 20 years, the Wall Street Journal, the Heritage Foundation, and other organizations have produced international indexes of economic freedom. And so what we're talking about when we talk about economic freedom are things like excessive taxes, burdensome regulations, fiscal restraint, free trade, a protection of contracts and property rights, those kind of freedoms that we enjoy in this country. So for 20 years, again, the Wall Street Journal and Heritage Foundation have looked at that and have ranked countries based on that. What we've seen recently, too, is now we are starting to see some state comparisons. And that is something that the John Locke Foundation, that's sort of a project for 2014, if you will, here in our organization. We're going to be looking at an economic freedom index across the country and where North Carolina fits into that. Are we the freest economic state? Where are areas that we need to improve? And when I talk about economic freedom, again, we're talking about the tax burden. We're talking about the regulatory burden. We're talking about property rights, contract rights, those kind of things. And what we have seen is many studies have shown us that the more economic freedom that a country or a state enjoys, the greater the economic growth.
Becky Gray, the vice president of the John Locke Foundation. She works with John Hood at John Locke. You see Becky on NC Spin. Are you on NC Spin this week?
No, I'm not. I'm on again in February.
Okay, good. My friend Philip Horn is here, and he's got some questions for you.
Hi, Becky.
Great.
I was just going to comment that on a very personal level, what people will notice this first paycheck for those who are employed and small businesses is that they got a pay raise. So there's other evidence that that trend is related to a revised tax policy in North Carolina.
Exactly. Yeah, there was a tax cut, a tax rate cut for every North Carolinian across the board. Now, another new report that we have, and it just came out yesterday, and I haven't had a chance to go through it line by line, but the other thing that we looked at is the tax reforms and what is the impact on different income groups across North Carolina. So it's a new study that we've done. We take a look at it. What we have found is that taxpayers in every single income category are going to save tens of millions of dollars because of the tax reforms enacted in North Carolina in 2013.
That's good to hear. You don't hear it very often now. The concern, of course, is that the feds are going to take it away. you got more taxes coming with Obamacare, and you just don't know what's going to happen with people's personal incomes as we move forward with their insurance premiums and things like that. So, you know, I'm hoping that doesn't, you know, what the feds are doing doesn't offset the good that the state legislature is doing here in North Carolina.
Absolutely. And Henry, I think that's an important point to keep in mind as we're talking about this economic recovery and the economic recovery rates in North Carolina. Again, these are very complicated issues, and there are things at the federal level that impact our economy in North Carolina that we don't have anything to do with. There are also things that occur at the international level that impact our economy in North Carolina, again, that we don't have any control over. You know, things, I mean, at the national level, things like sequestration, you mentioned the impact of Obamacare. You know, internationally, what's going to happen in the Mideast? You know, some trade agreements that may be occurring internationally, international economic impacts that have ripples all the way here to North Carolina that our General Assembly, our governor, we can't do anything about at the state. So I think as we talk about this, it's at the same time, every single decision, every sign of economic recovery, you can't credit North Carolina lawmakers. So I think it would be disingenuous to say that we're recovering and it is due 100% to great decisions that have been made here, right here in North Carolina. But I do believe that the decisions that they're making are a huge contributor to that.
Right. Becky, let's switch gears and talk about other things. You're one of the most knowledgeable people and most intelligent, I might add, that work in kind of analyzing what's happening in state government on a day-to-day basis. It's an election year, and you know, we're looking ahead at whether or not. I noticed the interview that Tom Campbell actually did with Governor McCrory. He asked him about, are you expecting any major changes, any swings when we have the election this year? And his response was that he's not, that he thinks that Republicans will continue to control the Senate and the House. We're going to have a primary in May. And let's talk state level first. Redistricting is going to dictate, is it not, the fact that the Republicans are probably in pretty good shape to continue to control the state legislature? Do you agree with that?
Well, just like for the previous 140 years, redistricting has an impact on the controlling party. The Democrats were in control for a long time, and they certainly used redistricting to their advantage. Yes, I believe that the Republicans used redistricting to their advantage. The thing about it is, the biggest factor I think that we're going to see in this election is, again, getting back to the economy and jobs, because at the end of the day, when voters are sitting at their kitchen table, when they're looking at what's ahead for them, where they want to see state government go, I think these economic decisions are what are going to really be influential to not only the whether you vote Republican or whether you vote Democrat, but those independent voters. So I think that as we see an economic recovery here in North Carolina, we see these policies that we've talked about that the Republicans have put in place, I think that people are going to like what they see. So I believe, two things. Redistricting clearly has an impact, and the other factor is I believe that we're going to continue to see this economic growth throughout the year, certainly going into the end of the year, November, which I think will be an advantage for the Republicans.
Yeah, it's a lifetime. We're still 10 months away from the election, and that's a lifetime in politics.
Right.
A lot's got to happen. But the good news is, if you're right about the economy and the economy continues to improve and unemployment continues to go down, by the time we get to November, that's certainly going to benefit the party that's in charge, and that's, of course, the Republicans. And there's some belief even that the Republicans may actually increase their lead in the number of people that they have in the Senate and the legislature. And the Democratic Party, who was in control for so many years, they have yet to kind of get their act together in North Carolina. I know that the big thing, of course, is to criticize Republicans, criticize the governor, criticize the legislature. But the truth of the matter is, there's no real leadership in the Democratic side in North Carolina that I can see. Do you agree with that?
The Democrats took a real hit earlier in the decade with a lot of scandal, a lot of corruption, with Speaker Jim Black going to prison. Former Agriculture Commissioner Meg Scott Phipps. There were ethical questions that were raised and some, real legal problems for Governor Mike Easley. There were some questions during Beverly Perdue's administration. Some of the strong leadership
you're leaving
in the
out
General Assembly.
on the Easley thing. You're leaving out a felony conviction.
Right. Yeah. So some real problems there, and then they've lost some really strong leadership when they lost control of the General Assembly in Mark Bass-Knight and Tony Rand,
right.
Joe Hackney. Those kind of folks. The other thing that I think really is going to impact, and I've been watching this, Henry, for more years than I even like to admit, but it just makes it's a lot more fun to be in control. It's a lot more fun to get to be a committee chair than it is to sit on the back row, and so just sort of the quality of the candidates, the quality of the individuals who choose to step up, because it is a sacrifice to serve in the North Carolina General Assembly. They get paid next to nothing. The time requirements away from their family and their businesses and commitments that they have in their communities, it's a big commitment to serve. And so just sort of anecdotally, what I've seen over the years is the party that's in control, more people want to be part of that. And so sort of the quality of the candidate seems to be higher, whether it's a Republican or whether it's a Democrat that's in charge of that. And so, we're seeing that already. And, of course, the filing period for all of these races starts the middle of February. So we'll see. But just people that have said are declaring that they're going to run for certain offices. I think there's going to be more primaries than we would expect.
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah, some really good qualified people are stepping up to the plate, particularly on the Republican side.
Let me switch gears. We only got a couple minutes left. Let me switch gears and talk about Tom Tillis, Kay Hagan, the whole U.S. Senate race. That's a big one. We were talking this morning about the amount of money that's going to be spent in the state of North Carolina on that race. Some are predicting it's going to be the most expensive U.S. Senate race in the history of the country.
It certainly could be.
And yesterday, this guy Mark Harris, the pastor down in Charlotte, got an endorsement from
Huckabee.
Mike Huckabee, and I was disappointed to see that. I continue to say the only person that has a chance to beat Kay Hagan is Tom Tillis. He's the only one with any statewide name recognition. I mean, and his name recognition is not that significant when it comes to the entire state electorate. But, the main thing is you've got to have a candidate who can raise money. And to me, it looks like Tillis is the only guy that is going to be able to go out there and raise enough money to mount a serious challenge to Kay Hagan. Everybody is assuming that Kay Hagan's in real trouble because of her stance on Obamacare and her running around the state saying if you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan and all that. But again, November is a lifetime away in politics, and President Obama's machine will spend whatever they have to spend to keep her in office. So in my view, it's got to be Tillis, and it's got to be, the Republicans are shooting themselves in the foot not to get behind him and raise money and try to take Kay Hagan out. Am I being too Pollyanna and too Republican?
No, I think that's a very accurate assessment of where things are. And one of the points, too, Henry, that I feel like we need to make is one of the reasons why the Senate race is so huge and so significant is it could really come. There are a handful of states that Senate races are competitive. North Carolina is one of those, and it is highly competitive. And the race in North Carolina could very well determine which party holds the majority in the United States Senate. I mean, that's what could very well be resting on this. So when we talk about all the attention, Obama willing to spend the money, Republicans getting behind whoever the candidate is, I mean, that's how critical this race in North Carolina could very well be.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's going to be getting all of this attention. The thing that's going to be interesting about that is, I think the bottom line at the end of the day, Kay Hagan is going to have to answer to Obamacare.
Mm-hmm.
And if Tillis is the Republican candidate, he's going to have to answer for what the North Carolina General Assembly has done.
Right.
Those are going to be that will be the ads that you will see. As far as the primary, the latest poll numbers that came out just yesterday, I think it was a PPP poll that came out, has Tillis in that Republican field at 19%.
Yeah.
The key for Tillis is he has to get 40% of the vote in the primary in order to avoid a primary.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine him
40.
having to run 2 different elections before he gets to Hagan?
Yeah, and yeah, when you talk about the money,
If Republicans were smart, there wouldn't be a primary at all, and he would be raising money to beat Kay Hagan right now. Becky, we got to go. We're out of time. But look, as always, your insight is amazing, and we appreciate your
thank
taking
you.
the
And
time.
you and I could talk politics and talk this stuff for hours.
Need to go to lunch and do that.
Let's do.
Becky,
I'll bring some donuts.
That sounds good. Becky Gray from the John Locke Foundation, and I miss seeing you when we do NC Spin together, but we got to get together soon. Thank you for calling
Happy
in
New
this morning.
Thanks
Absolutely.
for everything you're doing.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon. All right, it's 6 minutes now in front of 9 o'clock. We got sports. Philip Horn's got sports when we come back.
Don't miss the incredible year-end savings at East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep. We are overstocked with over 400 new Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram vehicles. We aren't only discounting the 2013 models, but the 14s as well. Jeep Patriot starting at only $15,990. Dodge Grand Caravan starting at only $19,990. Ram Quad Cab starting at only $26,990.
It's the big finish at East Carolina Chrysler Dodge Jeep, across from the Cracker Barrel in Greenville.
Think you're in good hands with your insurance company? The same people who held your hand when you bought your policy might try to wash their hands of you the moment you file a claim.
We'll help you take matters into your own hands by making sure you know your rights, and we'll fight to get you the compensation you may deserve.
At Hardy & Hardy, we're serious about seeking justice on behalf of our clients.
Count on Hardy & Hardy, protecting the rights of the seriously injured.
Stallings Mobile and Mini Storage Company will deliver a storage unit to your home or business today. Stallings Storage is the only local company providing mobile storage units 8x15 or 8x10 delivered to your site. If you are remodeling your home or office or need to store merchandise and inventory at your business, you need to call Stallings Mobile and Mini Storage. We deliver, pick up, and store it for you. It's that easy, and there's no need to send your business out of town when your mobile storage needs can be met right here with people you know. Stallings Mobile and Mini Storage is located in Pitt County on Beast Oaks Road. It's a well-secured facility with a live-in manager. Fixed units range from 5 feet by 10 feet to 40 feet by 40 feet. We store boats, cars, anything you need. We are pirate supporting pirates. Call Stallings Mobile and Mini Storage today at 321-2300. That's 321-2300.
Having a vision of what really matters is how we succeed. Keeping an eye on the ball, seeing all the things that we need. Focusing on the big picture, always striving to do what's right. Carolina Vision Care, we keep what's important in sight.
When you're on the go, it's Trade Wilco. No matter where you go in Eastern Carolina, there's sure to be an attractive and always clean Trade Wilco Hess station nearby. For the absolute lowest prices on gas, groceries, and travel necessities, stop at any of the Trade Wilco Hess stations throughout Eastern Carolina. Keep your eyes on the road, but remember to look for the green and white Hess sign. The best part? No one supports the ECU Pirates more. So when you're on the go, it's Trade Wilco.
103.7 WTIB Sports Update.
In Boca Raton, Florida, East Carolina basketball fell to Florida Atlantic University. Jackson Trapp of Florida Atlantic scored 23 points, hit 6 of 11 from behind the arc as Florida Atlantic won its first home game as a member of Conference USA, beating East Carolina 78-67 on Thursday night. East Carolina 11-6, 0-2 in the conference, shot just 36.8% from the field. Akeem Richmond led the Pirates with 20 points. Major League Baseball making some news in the offseason. Ever since the game was invented, before television or even radio existed, baseball counted on the eyes and ears of umpires on the field. But starting this season, many key decisions will be made in a studio far away. That is the instant replay booth. Major League Baseball vaulted into the 21st century of technology on Thursday by approving a huge expansion of instant replay in hopes of eliminating blown calls that riled up players, managers, and fans, and acknowledging the human element had been overtaken in an era when everyone, except the umps, could see the several views over and over in slow motion. Owners and players and umpires okayed the new system. In other East Carolina news, East Carolina's young and very bright offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley is a hot commodity these days around college football. His name has surfaced for coaching jobs at Texas, Notre Dame, and North Carolina, but Riley says he's staying at ECU. When WITN sports director Billy Weaver spoke to Riley on the phone, Riley said, "It's a very special place. Caitlin Riley and I, we look forward to being here a long time." Lincoln Riley will enter his 5th season at East Carolina this fall and help lead the Pirates to the school's second ever double-digit win season, going 10-3 in 2013. This weekend at East Carolina, speaking of East Carolina football, nearly an entire signing class worth of college football recruits are set to converge on the university. The Pirates are set to welcome 21 high school prospects and 1 junior college player in hopes of acquiring a full 25-man class on the February 5th National Signing Day. Coming off a 10-3 season, ECU expects a majority of this weekend's visitors to make their verbal commitments official on signing day. That's sports wrapping up a Friday morning. Everyone, have a great weekend. That's it from Talk of the Town.